You could have the most brilliant team, perfect execution, but it's all wasted if they're aimed at the wrong target. When that initial problem definition is just a little bit off, all that energy, all that talent, it just goes nowhere. It is the silent killer of so much good work.
So where does this all start to go wrong? Well, it almost always begins with those big, high-level goals that sound fantastic in a boardroom but give your project team absolutely nothing concrete to work with. This is the hidden root of so much wasted time and money.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Improve customer satisfaction. It's a fog. What does that even mean? How do you measure it? How do you know when you're done? It just leads to aimless activity. But then you look at something like reduce enterprise customer churn from 15% to 7%. Now that is a clearer path. It's measurable, it's got boundaries, and it gives a team a real actual target to hit.
Let me make this really concrete for you with a quick story. Imagine a CEO walks up to two different sales leaders and gives them the exact same classic vague directive: fix our sales problem.
And what they do next, well, it tells you everything. Reader number one immediately jumps into a flurry of activity. Hiring people, buying software, changing comp plans. It feels productive, right? But it's totally unfocused. Leader number two, on the other hand, does something really brave. She pauses. She resists that intense pressure to just do something, and instead, she invests time to deeply understand the problem first. This right here, this is the fork in the road. See, leader two knew, almost intuitively, that she needed a framework for clarity before she could even think about taking action. And that's exactly what we're going to break down now, the four-part framework that gives any strategic project its North Star. This is it, the powerful problem statement. It's not some fuzzy goal or a question. It's a sharp, numbers-driven declaration that becomes the ultimate filter for every single decision. It's the one sentence that everyone, from your team on the ground to your stakeholders, should be able to recite by heart. And it's built on four simple, non-negotiable parts. You've got the metric, that's the specific KPI you're trying to move, the target, the number that tells you you've won, the time frame, your deadline, and maybe most importantly, the scope, which defines not just what you're doing, but what you're explicitly not doing. You miss just one of these, and the whole foundation gets shaky. So let's see this framework in action. Just watch how it can take a totally useless, vague corporate request and forge it into a crystal clear declaration of exactly what needs to be done. You can just see the evolution here. Improve our digital strategy. I mean, that's unusable. Phrasing it as a question is a little better, sure. But level 3, that's where the magic happens. It defines the scope, the financial target, the time frame, and the metric. That is a statement you can build a project on. That is a North Star. Okay, so let's shift from the theory into action. Because look, having the framework is one thing, but actually implementing it, well, that's where real leadership comes in. Let's go back to our story for a second. Remember leader 2, the one who spent 2 weeks analyzing? She didn't come back with a plan to fix sales. She came back and completely redefined the problem itself. Her powerful problem statement completely reframed the entire issue. It turns out the real problem wasn't about getting new leads, it was about stopping existing customers from leaving. By defining the mission as reducing churn to 7% within a year, she focused the whole company's energy on the real source of the bleeding. She didn't just launch a flurry of activity, she launched the right activity. Okay, so this story shows just how powerful this framework can be. The big question then is, how do you actually make this happen? How do you bake this kind of discipline into your own teams? Here's your playbook. It's 4 simple steps. First, never ever accept a vague problem. Use these 4 components like a checklist. Second, write it down and get a formal sign-off. Treat it like a contract. Third, use it as a ruthless filter for every new idea that comes along. And finally, and this is your most important job as a leader, you have to become the fierce protector of that scope. All right, let's bring this all home. You don't have to wait for some big new strategic project to use this. You can start making clarity happen right now. Here is your action item for this Monday morning. Don't try to boil the ocean here. This Monday, just pick one project. A single, active project that your team is working on right this minute. Now, go ask a few people on that team a simple question. Can they, from memory, recite the project's metric, its target, its time frame, and its scope? And be really honest with yourself about the answers you get back.
And here's the radical but absolutely necessary conclusion. If they can't, you pause the project. Yes, stop the work. The highest leverage thing you can possibly do as a leader is to halt that flurry of activity until every single person has a crystal clear shared understanding of the problem they are trying to solve. Because clarity isn't just a nice to have, it's the absolute prerequisite for any work that actually matters.